County medical examiner disclosing new details about Jasmine Pace's autopsy during day 4 of Jason Chen's murder trial. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kim Chapman-Whitfield.
And I'm Joshua. I want to warn you here, some viewers might find today's coverage difficult to listen to. Dr. Stephen Cogswell on the stand for a majority of the day today. He mentioned x-rays of the suitcase that police found Pace inside of. He also held the shackles and handcuffs found around Pace's ankle and wrist.
Dr. Cogswell also going into detail about how Pace died. He held a part of the blade from the knife that was pulled from her lung during her autopsy. Dr. Cogswell telling the jury today those 60 stab wounds likely leading to a relatively slow death as she bled out in Chen's apartment.
A person who is the size of Jasmine Pace, just under 100 pounds, her blood volume is approximately 4 liters or 4 quarts of blood, so a gallon of blood. Now, if you lose about 20 to 30% of your blood volume, that is sufficient to make you unconscious. Anything above 30% is sufficient to actually cause death.
You didn't observe any significant injuries to the decedent's wrist, right?
That is correct, yes, sir.
And if you had, that would be consistent with struggling?
That's correct, yes, sir.
Dr. Cogswell also keying the jury in on the concentration of stab wounds on Pace. He says the majority of those wounds were on her upper body.
News Channel 9's Mary Beth Mangrum has been in the courtroom this week following along for our digital coverage of this case. However, she joins us now live with the day's big takeaways. Mary Beth.
Yeah, Josh, Kim, the Hamilton County medical examiner's testimony gave grim details about the attack that Jasmine Pace faced in 2022. And as he explained the extent of those injuries, the defense posed questions about what this says about the emotion that could have been behind it.
Sir, specifically this autopsy report, who is the person that was examined?
Jasmine Nicole Pace.
After the discovery of this suitcase on Suck Creek Road on December 1st of 2022.
The question came up, well, what is in the suitcase? And at that point, the cover of the suitcase, the lid was open. Inside was a black plastic trash bag.
Dr. Stephen Cogswell completed his autopsy report for Jasmine Pace. The Hamilton County medical examiner says her body was handcuffed.
These are not the typical law enforcement handcuffs.
And shackled. Only her left arm was free. Dr. Cogswell discussed the extent of her injuries, which Jason Chen's defense admits he caused.
You can see all of these individual stab wounds and stab incised wounds that are occupying the right side of her head and face.
And one piece of evidence Dr. Cogswell says couldn't be retrieved, the tip of this broken knife found in Jasmine's lung.
You can see the very tip end of it is broken off, and that was not recovered at autopsy.
During the cross-examination, attorney Joshua Wise asked about the manner of the wounds.
If the attacker here was in the heat of the moment, would the injuries appear as they do here, clustered and frenzied?
That's certainly consistent with not only the number, but also the clustered nature and the pattern of the wounding.
Adding to the defense's claim from opening statements that this was a crime of passion. But further questioning revealed Pace was probably alive for 5 to 10 minutes after the attack began.
She's bleeding into that airway, and she's still trying to breathe.
So she was alive?
She was alive at that time.
Dr. Cogswell laid out the handcuffs and shackles, where he says the autopsy results support where Pace's body was as she bled significantly. And as for if any of the stab wounds happened after her death or post-mortem,
the injuries inflicted on Miss Pace's body occurred at various stages, including ante-mortem.
Yes, sir.
Paramortem.
Yes, sir.
But not post-mortem.
I didn't see anything that I considered to be definitively post-mortem, so that is correct.
Now, Now, Dr. Cogswell also testified about the toxicology report done for Pace, which came back negative for alcohol and inconclusive for marijuana. But he did also say there are scenarios that exist where even if she had been drinking prior to death, they might have not gotten a positive result. And that goes back to the defense's claim in opening arguments that Chen and Pace drank a bottle of wine together prior to her death. Reporting live, I'm Mary Beth Mangrum, News Channel 9.
Thank you, Mary Beth. We've also learned this case is evolving in civil court. Court documents reveal the family of Jasmine Pace filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Chen and his parents. Lawsuit claims Chen murdered Pace, then his parents helped cover it up. It says they did this by harboring Chen at their home in Nolensville. The lawsuit asked for $17 million in damages. Chen's parents do not face any criminal charges.